we've been on a little hiatus, Adam. Seems like just yesterday, it was December 2023, we were saying the exact same thing. Hey, the holidays, baby.
The holidays, listen, it's you're getting what you pay for, and you ain't paying shit.
Well, let me throw a wrench in that gear real quick. It's not just the holidays. I have actively and successfully done a California sober January.
What?
California sober January.
I don't even know what that means. You weren't
But the
drinking?
good news is it's February 2nd. It's a Friday night.
I got blotto the other day.
This is my first weekend of drinking in 2024.
I love how you always have to make our show about your alcoholism.
I don't know what else to talk about. I don't know what else to talk about.
Some people go to meetings. Bobby, he talks about how much he drinks or didn't drink.
That's an interesting point because at the end of the day, I love our fans. I love doing this. I mean, you're a necessary but sprained ankle.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Sure. I'm a necessary sprained ankle.
You're the necessary sprained ankle for this little endeavor.
Sure, yeah.
So, I mean, all that being said,
it's cruel to be kind.
It's cruel to be kind. Graham Parker. Is it Graham Parker or Graham Parsons?
I don't fucking know.
I always confuse those two.
Were those two different people?
Yeah. One of them's English and the other one got burned in a desert.
How many guys are named Graham?
Dude, you know what's underrated as all shit?
What's that?
Now that you mention it.
Manila wafers?
And they're cheap, too.
Manila wafers?
There's something about chocolate-covered graham crackers.
Yeah.
You can get them at Walmart. Like, you get like 100 count for like $1.99. But you know what I mean?
That was like 20 years ago, dude. This is inflation, bro. It's like $6.50 now.
That's fair. I haven't been to Walmart to buy chocolate-covered graham crackers.
I'm more of a fan of a good ginger snap. Ginger snaps always seem kind of stale, and I like that.
Not gonna say I love ginger snaps, but I appreciate where you're coming from. I think there is a dark horse like snack, like cheap
snack
cookie.
I prefer ginger snaps to Nilla wafers. Nilla wafers are kind of just garbage.
I'd say Nilla wafers is a dark horse.
Yeah.
This day and age, at least.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's fucking Nilla wafers or ginger
with
snaps anymore.
Macadamia and coconut chips ahoy, shit like that.
Nobody drinks fucking Tang.
I mean, we've talked about old people candy before, like a bunch.
Like Werther's Originals, those little strawberries.
We've done that on this show multiple times.
We haven't talked about crackers.
We've never talked about like sweet little tea time
snack biscuits.
Snack biscuits.
Delicious little snack biscuits.
Talk about old people snack biscuits.
And
what's interesting is
hang my hat with ginger snaps.
What we would consider old people snack biscuits are the shit we grew up on, which makes us old.
Yeah. I'm thinking I always used to like ginger snaps and milk, but it's been years since I've had ginger snaps. I kind of want to put it in coffee. I just want to crush up some ginger snaps and throw that shit in my coffee.
Some Fox & Sons coffee.
Fox & Sons coffee, jet black.
Yeah, there's no reason why that wouldn't work. Why doesn't Fox & Sons coffee, promo code NFE, foxandsons.com, make a not for everyone ginger snap blend?
Ginger snap blend. What we did is we just ground up some ginger snaps. We threw it right in the coffee.
Seriously, Steven, all proceeds go to Fox & Sons coffee if you do that.
Yeah, if you do that. And also the salsa coffee, if we're going to go back on that racket.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, let's talk about old folk biscuits. Let's talk about old folk biscuits.
There's a lot of saltines that get eaten in my house. Saltines are always a popular item, but it's not a snack cake. It's not a snack biscuit.
No. Well, what about this? Here's a deep cut.
Sure.
Remember they're good, too. Remember those... cool lemon covered in powdered sugar.
Oh, yeah, those are real good.
And my grandma would always keep them in the freezer.
Right, a nice cold lemon cookie.
Oh, lemon cookie.
Dude, lemon cookies are the shit.
That's a good old lady snack biscuit.
There's a friend of mine who's a baker, ex-baker, but she makes some fantastic lemon cookies, and they're still in the wild. She worked for a place, a local bakery in San Marcos that would make them pan chiffonade or Steger chiffonade. Anywho, they still sell them. You'll go to the pizza place and they have those delicious. They're glazed, like a lemon glaze lemon cookie. Oh man, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, if we're gonna go, I'm gonna go the other direction.
Okay.
On biscuits, right? Do you remember chicken biscuits?
From.
The grocery store.
The cracker.
The cracker. It's a cracker.
The cracker.
Chicken flavored cracker.
I thought you were talking about, a popular breakfast item in Texas now is the actual
chicken
piece
on
of chicken on a biscuit with some honey.
Yeah, that is good. I mean, I love me
honey butter biscuits.
Oh, honey butter chicken biscuit.
Whataburger, dude. One time we went to Whataburger at 2 a.m. I was hammered drunk.
Right.
And everyone wanted honey butter biscuits.
I mean, if you're gonna go to Whataburger, that's what you want. They got good taquitos there.
But like my point is, we ended up ordering like 9 of them. They like didn't even bat an eye. They're like, yeah, that makes sense. We get that order all the time.
Our non-Texan listeners, What a Burger, we've probably said this before, is a fast food chain in Texas.
It has gone downhill.
Burger. Oh, and it's so expensive now.
Yeah.
But anywho.
Ever since they franchised out, it's totally not the same.
Chicken biscuits. You can buy these at the grocery store. They're little crackers. Imagine like a Ritz cracker, but covered in chicken seasoning. I mean, it's just genius. I'm like, why can't we take that chicken seasoning and put it in ice cream?
Yeah, you know what? It was like they were like,
chicken
hey,
and cream.
We got some leftover, some highly ground up shake and bake leftover at the factory.
Yeah.
And we got some leftover unseasoned Cheez-Its.
Yeah, let's put them together.
Like, we could make a new product called Chicken Biscuit.
Chicken biscuits.
Toss it together. It's shake and bake. I helped. It's chicken biscuits. We love them.
Now here's the best of both worlds on the delicious snack biscuits, right? Mm-hmm. What you do is you get a Ritz cracker, and then you get a box of Andes mints, and then you
Hold on, I'm trying to imagine both of those.
Andes mints, Ritz crackers.
Yeah, Andes mints. You get them when you get done at Luby's cafeteria.
Yeah, you should just hang out at Luby's. Take all the Andes mints.
We'll talk Luby's some other time.
Or you go to the grocery store and buy Andes mints. Andes mints, if you don't know what I'm talking about, are like mint chocolate little chocolates.
Yeah, they're rectangular little.
Yeah.
They're a good after meal mint.
Well, I'm gonna blow your mind, Bobby. What you do is you double boil those bitches. You double boil a box of Andes mints.
Double boil?
You get a pot and you boil water in it, and then you put another pot into that, right? Mm-hmm. And then in that empty pot, you throw in those chocolates and they melt up. So it's a double boiler in that you're not direct heating.
Why don't you just super low heat them on a one pan pot?
Do whatever you want. Point is, you get yourself a nice pot full of melted Andes mints.
I'm gonna air fry some Andes.
Oh, that's good. Anyways, stop it.
Just be all cummy and flaky all over the air fry grate.
Just lick it clean.
Oh, it is kind of salty.
Shut up. So you take that Andes mint melted down and you dip those Ritz crackers in it. And you set them aside on a piece of wax paper or something.
Did you make this up?
I mean, I don't think I made it up, but this is American.
I've never heard of this.
This is a family thing.
It sounds great.
And then you put them in the freezer for a couple minutes. You let that chocolate freeze on them real good. And then you have a salty Ritz cracker covered in sweet mint chocolate. It tastes like homemade Thin Mints. Girl Scout Thin Mints, but better.
It's like apocalypse Thin Mints.
Oh, it's fucking amazing.
It's like the Girl Scouts has completely been decimated due to the Chinese virus.
The Wu-Tang flu.
Humanity doesn't have
Girl Scouts anymore.
They can't prioritize.
This is just for the 9 months of the year when Girl Scouts aren't around.
Or that too. Yeah, that's a good point. That's true. I agree. I'm getting way ahead of myself.
And God bless them. I'll pay you every time, Girl Scouts. Bring me the cookies, the Samoans. You don't call them Samoans anymore.
They call them, what do they call them? Like Ooga Boogas?
Yeah, that's it. I think that's the politically correct term for it. I'm pretty sure you got it.
Let's get back to brass tacks here.
Mm-hmm. Snack biscuits.
Let's take a trip away from Polynesia.
Okay.
And go back to USA.
Good old.
A couple decades ago.
Processed food in the USA.
Yeah. Snack biscuits. What are we calling this segment?
Yeah, this is snack biscuits.
Snack biscuits.
Snack biscuits with Adam and Bobby.
Ooga booga.
So yeah. Anyways, was there a point you were getting to with that?
No. What else we got? What else we got?
I don't know. I think I kind of blew my load on chicken biscuits. Now I'm thinking I want to get them chicken biscuits and dip them in Andes mints, and then have like chicken mint. Ooh, chicken.
Nah, see, I think that's like a little too far.
No, there is no too far, Bobby. We're talking about the realm of taste, and you got to mix and combine these flavors to see what works.
It's already perfect. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Listen, dude. There's all sorts of like Indian cuisine that has mint chicken. So I'm just saying, throw some chocolate and biscuit in there.
All right, I'll give you this. You make an offshoot seasonal brand of chocolatey chicken biscuits. Right?
Mint chocolate.
This is just for like Christmas time.
Yeah, it's special Christmas. I just want to like have that when the grandkids come to the house. They're eating these weird chicken mint biscuits.
You know what'd be really
Grandpa
creepy is like you can't even buy those at the store, but you're so old and crazy that you like print out the branding in the box. Like once a month, you make a new
box of them, like
custom box of your own.
Have it vacuum sealed, and
your grandkids grow up thinking that that's like a real thing.
Mail it to them once a month. Yeah. Like
that's the type of psychopathy that I can like support.
I don't think the word's really pronounced psychopath. Who cares?
Psychotherapy?
That's the kind of psychotherapy I can get behind too.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, be harmless. Just do crazy shit like that.
Mint chicken.
All right, here's one for you. We'll end on this. I'm sure there's more.
Ginger snaps.
We've been on a long road of snack biscuits on this episode of 2024's Not For Everyone Podcast.
Fig Newtons are real fucking good too.
That's a good one, too.
Yeah, it's a good one. Those have been around for 133 years, y'all.
That's a really good one.
Newton.
Those are underrated, too.
Remember that?
I love a fig Newton.
The marketing when we were kids, like you could tear them apart and then stick them back together. Do you remember that? Or was that before your time?
I would just put them in my mouth. I didn't have time to
but that
play
was
with
a whole
my
thing where it's like, oh, you can pick them apart and then you stick them back together.
Adam,
so
stop
gooey.
playing with your fig Newton and put it in your mouth.
Just stick that figgy. Get on that figgy. God, I love me a good Newton. Nothing beats a good Newton, y'all.
What do you think is more like had a bigger impact on the world?
Mm-hmm.
Fig Newtons or Isaac Newton?
I mean, in this point in time, since the world is turning into idiocracy, I'm definitely going with fig. Who needs gravity?
I prefer it that way.
My Newton sticks back together. That's gravity, right?
I'm going to be completely honest with you, Adam, right now. If I'm being genuine with my subjective feelings on Isaac Newton and his contributions versus Fig Newtons and their delicious
snack cakes.
Veil that's lived in my life like a warm blanket.
Yeah.
I try one every 6-7 years or so.
This episode brought to you by
these are still good. I think I got to go. I prefer Fig Newtons over Isaac Newton.
Yeah, I mean, what else? Okay, gravity. Like, whoopie shit. If he hadn't figured it out, somebody else would have.
That's interesting because you're right. Even if no one had figured it out, like Fig Newton still would have come along.
Right, yeah.
Knowing about gravity doesn't influence the development of Fig Newtons.
I think that maybe the whole publicity thing I was talking about in the 80s of the Fig Newtons sticking back together was the Fig Newtons taking a direct stab at Isaac Newton's theory of gravity, showing that, look, gravity doesn't affect Fig Newtons, the real Newton. This shit'll hold up even against gravity. I'm telling you, get a Fig Newton, rip it in half, stick it back together. It ain't going nowhere.
Adam, you just won the cold open.
No, Fig Newtons won the cold open.
Thrill me. You know, there's gorillas in these woods.
Mortis, what's that?
It's all in the reflexes.
Chicken's good. I like chicken.
I'd buy that for $1.
Die in the wind.
Oh, wait. Was she a great big fat person?
I drink your milkshake.
Carpet Day!
You make me want to be a better man.
I'm running this monkey farm now, Frankenstein, and I want to know what the fuck you're doing with my time!
See you at the party, Richter.
You're listening to the Not For Everyone Podcast. It's 2024.
I'm the pork chop moon man.
The Christmas monkey has hibernated until next Christmas.
All right, so we stop calling me that now. Can I be back to being the Lieutenant of Danger?
No, we had a good one for you earlier today. What was it? The Fig Newton boy. There was something like 20 minutes ago we said like, oh, that's a good new nickname. I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember.
It'll come back when I have to edit this horse shit.
Yeah, just throw it in there.
It's the Not For Everyone Podcast.
The real Not For Everyone podcast. We should just add that on, like, you remember the real Ghostbusters cartoon show? Just change ours to the real Not For Everyone podcast in counteraction to those other individuals who've stolen our name.
Hey, I wish I had enough energy and time to care.
That's America.
I really do.
God bless America. Anywho.
I ain't giving it up, I'll tell you that much.
No, hell no. There ain't no goddamn thing nobody's gonna do to make us drop the Not For Everyone podcast.
I was thinking we should like start just titling our episodes like exactly after the episode of theirs that just came out.
No.
I won't do
wouldn't
that.
that.
I'm not going to do that.
I don't want nothing to do
I
with
just
that.
think it'd be
It'd
kind
be
of funny
kinda
troll.
Yeah.
Kind of funny little.
Maybe we'd
like
actually
that.
get a couple of listens. This isn't what I expected. They listen to the podcast.
They're like, the thing about burgle cunts, fucking magic wand.
Burgle cunts and fig Newtons. That's what this show's all about, folks. This is why you continually tune in to the real Not For Everyone podcast.
But we're here to talk about snack biscuits.
Snack biscuits and Squirm. So speaking of, you ever found a worm in your snack biscuit?
Oh.
Never in a fig Newton.
You know what's funny about all
that's
this?
the whole thing.
We just got out of literally the fattest time of the year. Mm-hmm. And this is probably the fattest episode of Not For Everyone podcast we've ever recorded.
Is it that fat?
So much food in Fat Boy Talk.
We've only been doing this for 15 minutes.
That's the name of this episode. So much food in Fat Boy Talk.
You know, wouldn't it be fucked up if the other podcast stole our title?
What if we did a cool Brooklyn underground hip hop act called, what was it?
What was it you just said that you forgot already?
All kinds of food and Fat Boy fucks. What was it? What's the name of this? Whatever the name of this episode is. That's our hip hop group.
I hope you remember in the edit, Bobby. Because I don't remember it, and you just fucking said it.
This is the first time I've had a drink in 2024. Congratulations, we made it.
We made it.
And we're here to not steer the ship, but at least commentate on it of the next couple months, because it's going to be wild.
What, the world we live in?
It already is. It's like, that's what's beautiful too, Adam, is like,
you know, people nowadays
we have a way of incrementally getting from point A to point B in time in profound changes in the world.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
We're the world is very different today than it was, say, 10 years ago.
Okay.
Incredibly different.
I guess.
But
I mean, you and I's everyday existence really hasn't changed that much.
You think that, but you've been incrementally conditioned to this time and place.
You know, Bobby, listen, people tell me, oh my God, everything's so bad now. It's the worst it's ever been. I'm like, okay, we don't have fucking cholera, right? There's not
Dude, you're right. It is perspective and it's statistics as well.
Statistically, there's more humans alive than fucking ever. So no, we're doing fucking pretty fine.
Yeah, that's one of the, that's the fucking Steven Pinker thing. He's all like, no, dude,
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Well, he's like a psychologist, world commentator dude. And his whole thing lately has been things are fucking weird. But in all of human history, life expectancy, poverty,
right,
violence, it's all at the lowest it's ever been.
Right. So what the fuck are we bitching about?
It's all relative. It's all perspective.
Be fat and happy and eat your snack biscuits, people.
My point is, have a snack biscuit with us in 2024, and we'll watch the parade.
The parade of Newtons. I'm sorry.
All right, we're over that. We're over that. Let's go to movie recap.
Movie recap. So am I starting? I'm going to start.
You always start. It's never changing.
So I watched this movie I hadn't seen in a very long time. It's on the Netflix, which, you know what, I'm going to leave that alone. So it's a Western. It's a Western from the 80s. And it's an 80s Western that I remember watching when I was a kid and thinking it was so cool. Your hands up, Bobby. What is it?
Just one question.
Sure.
For now.
Okay.
Is it set in Australia?
No, it's not Quigley Down Under.
Okay.
Which is a great one. But I think I've seen Quigley Down Under since I've seen this one. But no. So let me see. I'm going to start naming the cast and tell me if you can guess who it is in this Western. Okay. Scott Glenn. Right. Okay. Who else would you not expect to be in a Western? Jeff Goldblum. Yeah. Okay. Nothing yet. Kevin Kline. Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
So this is all in one fantastic, amazing film called Silverado.
Oh, yes. I remember. That's a remake, though. Right?
Is it? I don't think so.
I think Silverado's an old 50s thing.
It's just the word Silverado, Bobby.
Hi-ho.
And it's an amazing...
That's the Seven Dwarves, not Silverado. Hi-ho, silver away is what I was trying to say there.
So this movie also has John Cleese. And this is a Western.
But I sang the Seven Dwarfs song instead.
This is a Western with Jeff Goldblum and Danny Glover. Brian Dennehy is in it as a bad guy.
John Cleese from Monty Python?
Yes, you fucking cunt. Yes. John
Why am I going
because
for
you're
asking
finally
you to
paying
clarify?
attention because I said it like 3 minutes ago.
Well,
and now
if you
you're
wanna
like,
get my attention-
John Cleese from Monty Python? No way. That guy? Like, yes, Bobby. Fuck.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, John Cleese will get my attention.
So this is a movie from 85, and I realized when watching this that Kevin Costner wasn't a big deal until later on.
Kevin Costner?
Yes, Kevin Costner plays a sidekick in Silverado. Kevin Costner basically goes full reach in Silverado.
Kevin Costner and Kevin Kline are in this?
Yes, and Kevin Kline is the star.
You got two Kevins.
Two Kevins, a Scott Glenn, a Danny Glover.
Wait a
raise
minute.
that with a Jeff Goldblum and just throw in some fucking Brian Dennehy for good measure.
Does this have anything to do with Buckaroo Banzai?
Bob, no.
Okay.
It's a Western. There's
no like mutual crew or anything.
There are actually quite a few guys from the actors from Buckaroo Banzai.
This reeks of Buckaroo Banzai connections.
You know who you would love the most in this movie? Who I know you love? Linda Hunt is in this movie. The tiny little lady. Linda Hunt.
Zelda Rubinstein?
No, the other one.
Oh, oh man.
That one from Dune?
From the old principal from Kindergarten Cop.
Yeah, that one, exactly. She's great.
Who do you think's more attractive?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to make it gross. Who do you think's more attractive? A more attractive lady. Linda Hunt, the Kindergarten Cop principal from Dune.
Yeah.
Or Mama Fratelli / throw Mama Fratelli from the tree.
Oh, Linda Hunt all day.
Really?
Linda Hunt all day. She's like 4'11".
You know,
she's like 4'8".
You like that in an old lady's.
I like little spinners, little old spinners.
Oh, okay,
they're not spinsters.
That is too far. That is too far.
I like to spin the spinsters, you know.
That is too far. Nothing but respect for. But
I love 'em.
You're right. You know what? Though she is an odd-looking woman.
Yeah, I like odd-looking women.
She was likely more attractive in her youth than Mama Fratelli was.
I'm sure. I can't imagine what Mama Fratelli looked like as a young woman.
I bet she was she was just like a hard 6.
Like a hard.
In her.
Real hard.
She was a hard 6 in her prime.
No, I don't know about that.
Mama Fratelli, we're going to look her up. What's her real name?
The fuck would I know? Gertrude Fratelli. I don't know.
I think it's just you look her up on IMDb. It's just like Mama Fratelli is her name.
Throw Mama. Yeah, she was Throw Mama from the Train. That was her too.
It was in her contract. You have to have Mama.
My name is Mama, and you will refer to me as such. You know, she was also in Deadly Friend.
Yeah, of course.
Anne Ramsey.
Her head explodes in Deadly Friend from a basketball.
That's a great scene. Anne Ramsey.
Anne Ramsey.
I want to see. Yeah, let's look up Anne Ramsey Young. Let's look that up on the internet.
Yeah, good idea. Let's just look at it now.
Hey, well, you know what we do on our show, right? Is we look up.
This is a new segment where we rate old lady character actresses when they were young. Hey, she's a looker, hard 6.
Nah, that's like a. I mean, nah.
She's a pretty girl.
Nah.
Yeah, she is.
She's kind of homely.
I mean, what that picture you just showed me was like from like 1937.
Yeah, Linda Hunt Young looks weirder.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Let me see.
But that looks like I think that's a child Linda Hunt on the left.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'd like to see like a 20-year-old.
I would take a young. Yeah, even there, like she looks younger, but no.
You like young Mama Fratelli?
A young Mama Fratelli, old Linda Hunt.
All right.
Yeah, but I would take old Linda Hunt over young Mama Fratelli.
And again, this is not This is not trying to get gross. It was just like it was
it was an organic conversation.
It was a serious inquisition. You know. So that was fun. What else? What movie were we talking about?
I think I was talking about Silverado. Linda Hunt plays like the madam of the one bar in town. And the whole town's run by Brian Dennehy. And Brian Dennehy and Kevin Kline used to be buddies, right? But Brian Dennehy's like the sheriff now, but he's like a bad sheriff. Ooh, and Jeff Fahey's in it. He's like
Jesus.
He's like, dude, the fucking cast is star-studded. He's like Brian Dennehy's he's like Johnny Ringo from Tombstone, like pre-Tombstone though. Like, you know, Johnny Ringo was played by Michael Biehn, who is basically Jeff Fahey. So that's kind of the same character in, you know, roundabout
I feel
ways.
like next you're going to say like, and Brad Dourif plays a lost sideshow clown.
Nah, but I could have seen Dourif in that. I mean, I think if he would have had a role in it, they probably would have cast him as Linda Hunt. But I'm glad that Linda got the work, you know.
Oh, I'd like to see Brad Dourif play all Linda Hunt roles. AI is going to be able to make that happen very soon.
AI could make that happen today.
Hey, AI, I want to see Kindergarten Cop exactly as it is, but replace Linda Hunt's character as the principal with Brad Dourif.
Now, it's also great as Pepe Serna is in it, who you might remember Pepe Serna from The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai, as well as The Jerk, and he was the guy that got chainsawed in Scarface.
Okay.
Pepe Serna, he was in it.
I can see him.
He's great. He's great in it.
Who else? And Jeff Goldblum from Buckaroo Banzai.
Jeff Goldblum's in it.
Is what's his name?
No Clancy Brown.
No
Clancy Brown. But it's got Scott Glenn. But the real thing for me was like Kevin Costner was in it. And you know how I feel about Kevin Costner.
And this is 85.
Yep. And Kevin Costner, he basically plays Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder.
I'm gonna watch this.
In this
I'm gonna
movie.
watch this very soon.
He goes full retard. He really does. He's like, "Duh-duh-duh." And I'm like, wow, Kevin Costner.
So
wasn't
it's like
the lead.
80s, like not even tastefully trying to play a mentally challenged person. It's just like, this is how they are.
I mean, either that's how Kevin Costner really is, or he was.
All right,
he was Simple Jack in it.
Let me ask you this: Kevin Costner's who's more bright?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Costner's character in Silverado or I Am Sam? Sean Penn as I Am Sam.
Oh,
You're like, oh, I have to think about that.
I think it's dead on, but
Okay.
but Costner in Silverado was like good with guns. So, but I don't know. I mean,
So it's like a Rain Man, but with guns.
yeah, but he's not the lead. He's like a secondary character. And I was like impressed. I'm like, holy shit, like Kevin Costner, just as a side character, not like trying to bogart the whole fucking show.
He didn't have a choice at that point.
It's pretty good. He wasn't bad. I was like, I don't hate Kevin Costner in this. So Silverado. I mean, listen, I liked it when I was a kid. Danny Glover's in a fucking Western. And he's like, I'm getting too old for this shit.
No way.
No, he doesn't
say that.
He doesn't.
He's been saying that his whole career.
It's a good crew, though. It's got him. It's got Scott Glenn. And Scott Glenn, like, he with those lines in his face, like, he's always looked like an old handbag, even in 85.
So what you'd say this is a gem of a Western.
It's good.
The 1980s.
It's not Tombstone, but it's got Jeff Goldblum. It's fun.
What is?
It's good. I'd give it like a thumb and a half up.
I did another late night adventure on my movie recap.
You got a charger?
It's not as sexy as it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, wife goes to sleep. She said the other night to me, she says, I was like, hey, can I watch a movie or something even though you're going to bed? She's like, yeah, just don't watch anything with a lot of screaming. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck movie doesn't have a lot of screaming. Like, what movie would I watch?
I know. And then we put on what?
I'm like, I guess I'll put on Nosferatu. You know what I mean?
It's silent.
Or Haxan.
I don't know that one. Journey to the Moon.
You know what? I was like, I'm going to put on the Tonight video on mute. But anyway, I watched a movie starring Corey Feldman and one Jack Nance. Did you know Jack Nance and Corey Feldman were in a movie together?
Jack Nance was in a movie with Corey Feldman. No, I had no clue.
I believe it's 1992.
I might have seen it.
Early 90s. The fourth installment of the Meatballs series, Meatballs 4.
Meatballs 4.
I watched Meatballs 4. I didn't finish it, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't finish it, but I just wanted to bring up the fact that Jack Nance is in a movie with Corey Feldman.
Are they like the stars? Are they the two like leads?
It's exactly what you think it would be. Camp is about to go bankrupt because there's some like rich kid camp across the lake.
Oh God!
That wants to just buy into their property.
Those fucking rich bastards.
And I didn't finish it, but I guarantee there's some sort of like competition at the end.
Well, there's probably some like sexual assault, but it was the 80s,
well, I mean that's like every
fine.
14 minutes in those movies.
Yeah.
Like that's required.
Meatball.
But it's like they get a pass. It's Corey Feldman and Jack Nance. Let me ask you this. Adam, who do you think is more talented? I want you to really think about it. Don't answer.
I'm trying. I'm waiting to hear.
Okay, listen. Corey Feldman.
Right, we got that.
Or
Bill
Murray.
What?
Who do you think is more talented? Corey Feldman or Bill Murray?
I have to think about that.
Just think about it for a second.
Bill Murray. Bobby, Bill fucking Murray is more talented than Corey Feldman. Yes, 100%. What am I judging them on? Funny, right? Corey Feldman's got some good laughs, but Bill Murray, he's got like a volcano of laughs that's just erupting everywhere.
Adam, you don't have to justify you here. your answer to that question. Okay, I agree with you, Adam.
Why did you fucking ask a stupid question?
I agree with you. The point is,
You ever seen Groundhog's Day?
the original Meatballs.
It had Bill Murray.
It had Bill Murray in the 1990 whatever. Meatballs 4 is about a ski school.
Okay.
The Bill Murray character is played by Corey Feldman, and you can tell he's trying to do like mid-career Corey Feldman 1990s version of Corey Feldman Bill Murray.
Ugh.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He's trying to be that Bill Murray character, but as a Corey Feldman.
Who's trying to do a Bill Murray thing? Because there's got to be somebody that's trying to rip off Bill Murray. Yeah, other than
Dave
Lorenzo
Coulier.
Music. Oh, Dave Coulier.
Dave Coulier.
Yeah, Full House.
And he does not pull it off.
Dude, I got to ask you a question. Seriously.
Garfield.
Wait a
tries to pull
second.
off a Bill Murray.
I want you to be honest with me.
Peter Venkman.
I don't want you to make funny ha-ha with this. It's a serious question. How often?
Zelda Rubinstein.
How often do you watch Full House?
And like not often at all.
Like how often, Bobby? Like when was the last time you watched Full House?
Probably like September.
That's like, let's say 5-6 months.
But ask me before September, how long had it been?
Yeah, how long had it been, Bobby?
Before September?
Mm-hmm.
Like a month.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
no, it was like honestly, I watched Full House. I watched season 2 of Full House last year.
Right. And you know,
maybe 4 episodes. It wasn't the whole season.
But to me, I'm like watching that at all since
I was like cleaning the house and shit. I was just like had it on. I had it in the background.
But what drives a grown man, right, in his 40s, sitting in his toy lab, to like be like, I need something in the background. But what am I putting? What is there? Oh, there's Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen as little monkey children. Let's put that on to play season 2 of Full House in the fucking back. Why, Bobby? Why?
I'm not gonna apologize
What's
for
the fucking
watching
draw?
a couple Full House episodes last year.
I mean, see, there's some things I don't understand about you. I would never, ever put on Meatballs 4. I just don't see me doing it.
I understand. I don't blame you, to be honest.
It's like this is like Full House. Like I will sit and have Godzilla on the background 24 hours a day. But that makes sense.
Let me answer that question that's kind of related to everything here.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons I put on things like Meatballs 4
in Full House
is just because I'm like, no, listen.
Okay.
One of the reasons I put on things like Meatballs 4 is to see if I can recapture that time and place of nostalgia
right
in that era
mm-hmm.
with something I've never seen before.
Sure.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get you. But I do that with
it's chasing the dragon and it like never pans out.
That's what you gotta do is you just stick with horror.
No, you're right. That's one of the reasons. But my point is
you can do that with
that's
horror.
One of the reasons I'd watch something like Meatballs 4.
Now Full House
is the same but not the same. It's like it's consistent and familiar, and I'm chasing those same kind of like, memories, I guess, of watching that show.
Yeah, I guess so, but I never liked that show.
I don't know what to tell you. I was like 4. I watched the show on TGIF when my babysitter was watching it.
That fucking bitch. She did this to you.
I think it was a dude.
That fucking bitch. He did this to you.
But the point is, I'm not going to apologize for having watched Full House.
I don't want you to feel. I don't want you to apologize, Bobby. I just want you to feel bad about it.
Why?
I don't know,
dude. Guilty pleasures are the biggest fucking
pleasure?
waste of time. Guilty pleasures are like if you're midlife, if you're midlife and you're still considering things guilty pleasures, other than like being fat, doing fat food things, but like pop culture media. Guilty pleasures, like, dude, if you're someone in our age that still believes in guilty pleasures from a pop culture standpoint.
Yeah. I don't really feel guilty about any of the shit I like.
I buy who in our peer group?
I buy toys.
Who in our peer group would approve or disapprove of someone other than you and me, based on your taste and?
Well, with that being said, Bobby, I still judge you very fucking harshly for watching Full House.
Yeah, I know. I don't care. That's my point. I don't fucking care.
You don't have to care. Just
I don't need your. Is that gonna?
Know that I don't like you because of that.
But it literally has no. I have no visceral reaction to that whatsoever.
Yeah. You're gonna
and I do want to know, is that a deal breaker with our friendship? Because we're already on.
Obviously, fucking not.
Thin ice.
Obviously not. It's hilarious to me to be able to call you out about watching.
I don't care. Ask me something else that's potentially embarrassing. I don't care. I'll tell you.
Who is better looking? Dave Coulier or the other Stamos. John Stamos.
This is literally the Corey Feldman, Bill Murray question that I asked you like 10 minutes ago. It's like an analogy. It's like the next.
This is full circle, brother. Full circle.
Like, I'm not even going to give you an argument as to why the answer to that question is John Stamos.
Right. Yeah.
Let me put it to you this way. Corey Feldman is to Bill Murray as Dave Coulier is to John Stamos.
Fair enough.
On comedy and looks.
So was Jack Nance the camp counselor?
He's like the camp owner that's about to go bankrupt.
Right. He's like, oh God, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I see it.
So that was Meatballs 4. I
never seen it.
We went on some fun adventures on that one.
So the next movie that I watched was actually a movie that came highly recommended from a dear friend of mine, Snobby Bobby. I watched a movie called Q, the Winged Serpent.
Isn't Larry Cohen a genius?
He is just great. I mean, Salem's Lot 2 aside, he is great. Q, the Winged Serpent stars David Carradine and Larry Cohen's favorite actor, Michael Moriarty.
Oh, yeah.
He really likes Michael Moriarty to play this one particular type of asshole, which he does in The Stuff and in Q, the Winged Serpent and in Salem's Lot 2. Oh, God.
Tell the folks at home what that movie's about.
So Q, the Winged Serpent takes place in beautiful New York City in the mid-1980s. What year was it? 83, I think.
I think it was earlier than
82.
that.
82. So there's a guy, he's a window washer. He's washing the windows. It's a great scene. This is his opening scene. Like the window washer's like, oh, there's the window of the hot girl I like. And he's like, hey there, cutie. And she can't hear him. And this girl walks, beautiful blonde. She walks in her office. She's like, oh, that creep is here again. And she's like smiling. So every day, this creepy window washer shows up on her 50-story fucking building to stare at her. And, God bless. So anywho, as he's there ogling, he looks up and screams and blah, all of a sudden his head gets ripped off. But the head's missing. And 2 cops are sent in to solve this. The cops are Kane from Kung Fu and motherfucking John Shaft, Richard Roundtree. It's Carradine and Roundtree are these cops, right? And then we're introduced to our other lead, the third character, who is Mr. Michael Moriarty, who you might remember from The Stuff and from, Salem's Lot 2 and other films of Larry Cohen, and nobody else fucking cast Michael Moriarty, apparently.
No, he's in all kinds of things.
That guy. I
Stuff.
love
he's
that
in
guy.
The Stuff.
He's in the Stuff. So there's a scene where he's in New
Wasn't
York.
he one of those cop shows?
Probably.
Or like Law and Order shows?
Cagney and Lacey or some shit.
Yeah, he was on some 90s
something
show.
like that. So anyways, he's trying to get a job because he's a driver for crimes, right? But he's also like a jazz piano player. So he fucking goes in this bar.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm gonna audition. And he starts playing video. He's like,
Michael Moriarty.
Terrible fucking song. Yes, Michael Moriarty is singing this song. And the bartender, the owner, is nary too impressed with his song singing. Now, David Carradine just happened by a twist of fate, and because they're the 2 leads in this film. From Kung Fu. He was Bill in Kill Bill. Yeah. Carradine's like, I didn't think it was that bad. I think it sounded good. And Mike Moriarty's like, oh yeah, well fuck you. Because he's just a dick.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Michael Moriarty, he does this crime heist, jewels, but he pusses out and takes the jewels and runs. But then he like stumbles around the streets and drops the jewels in the middle of the street and then runs away. He's like, guys, you don't try to kill me. I lost your jewels.
This is all build up.
He takes them to he ends up running to the Empire State Building while he's running from the cops. And when he crawls to the very top of the Empire State Building in the abandoned spot at the top that's like a construction area, there's a giant nest up there. He finds a giant nest with a huge, massive egg.
A big nest inside of like a skyscraper is not a pleasant sight to come across.
It's not a pleasant thing to see. So he like runs back down. He's like, okay, goes to his girlfriend's house. He's like, oh, my buddies who I was fucked over in that job, they'll never find me at my girlfriend's house. So 5 minutes later, they show up, right? And he's like, well, God damn it. And they're going to try to kill him. And he doesn't have the money. He's like, I have the money. You got to follow me to the top of the Empire State Building. He leads them up there. He's heard the news stories, because there's news stories of a giant killer bird killing people. Now, this giant killer bird, it bit the guy's head off. It like gets some other broad who's like sunbathing.
It's like a long neck serpentine dragon thing.
It's a Quetzalcoatl.
It's
the Winged Serpent. It's from
Mexico.
It's from the Aztec mythology. So
in New York City.
In New York City. So there's some guys, and at the same time, there's like ritual sacrifice happening. So there's a combination of ancient Aztec witchery and giant monster. And I'm like, this is perfect. This is amazing. And it's got David Carradine in it. So as it turns out, Michael Moriarty leads guys up there. They're taking money from him, and the Winged Serpent eats him alive. And then he knows where the nest is.
Cue the Winged Serpent.
Cue the Winged Serpent.
Quetzalcoatl.
The whole city's on lockdown because this bird is just tearing people up. They can't find it. Now, Michael Moriarty gets arrested because he's a criminal, but he doesn't want to give the information of where the nest is. And he's like, I gotta tell people to save the city. Or his girlfriend's like, you gotta tell people. And he's like, okay, I'll tell them for $1 million. So he blackmails the city into like pardoning him and giving him $1 million and all this shit. He's like a total piece of shit.
No, don't spoil the whole movie there, Adam.
There's a big shootout with the birds.
It's Larry Cohen. It's 1982. It's Cue the Winged Serpent. I believe a lot of that was shot guerrilla.
Really?
And I believe Ray Harryhausen did the stop motion animation.
Well, the stop motion animation, what it really reminded me of when the people were falling off the buildings was RoboCop. They had the long arms, the RoboCop
it was that
arms.
era of that shit.
Yeah. Let's see who did the special effects on this right now. Instead of just
I feel like Harryhausen had something to
proclamating that it was that. Visual effects, would that be it? Ico, Dickin. No, that's not it. There was no Ray Harryhausen.
No Harryhausen.
No, I don't think so.
Whoever did the effects was a big Ray Harryhausen fan.
Yeah, it's great because it's that claymation shit. It's that stop motion claymation. And they do a fantastic job. The movie's gory, right? It's good and gory. It's got tits. It's got everything you want from a Larry Cohen movie, right? Yeah. And it's a good monster. It's a good monster flick. You know, you don't get a lot of those in America.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Well, the last one I got for you tonight was the same night I watched Meatballs 4, Adam. It was the same night of Meatballs 4.
Yeah.
Same reasons to watch things. But I watched a little movie called Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise.
That's the same thing as Meatballs 4.
No, it's not.
It's
what are you talking?
It's the same exact thing.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not even remotely the same movie. Now, in Revenge of the Nerds Part 2, Nerds in Paradise, for whatever reason, I didn't research it, but you know, there's two of the nerds, the main nerds.
Yeah.
I guess one of them couldn't be in the whole movie for whatever reason.
Hold on. The guy who did the special effects in Cue the Winged Serpent did the special effects in The Gate.
Cool. I'm glad you interrupted my Revenge of the Nerds review.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, fans.
Your movie.
Nobody gives a shit about Revenge of the Nerds 2.
You don't.
Wait, that's the one where like they go all Beastie Boys at the end? There's like a hip hop show or something?
That's like everyone. That's like all of them.
Is it? Does that happen at the end of the first one?
No, that's the first one.
Okay.
But there is a hip hop. It's like, I want to say it's like reggae hip hop shit because it's Hawaiian style or whatever.
Oh, dude. The guy who did the special effects, the other guy did the special effects on Cue the Winged Serpent, did the special effects on Willow and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
So he's probably some ILM guy.
Yeah, it's not Harryhausen, though.
Revenge of the Nerds 2, or Nerds in Paradise. The nerds go to like a fraternity convention down in Florida. I mean, I'm all for Florida, and Florida's beautiful beaches. I'm pro Florida. But like, I don't know if Paradise is a good. That's a little top shelf.
I mean, it depends on your opinion of Paradise.
Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise. Adam.
Yes.
It's got Lamar. It's got Worm in it. It's got Booger still.
It's got Booger. Did Ogre show back up?
It's got
Ogre's on their side now.
What's her name? Something Thorne from Melrose Place is the love interest in this movie.
I don't watch that shit. Ogre was in it though, right? And Ogre was on their side.
Oh yeah, Ogre turns to their side.
Yeah, I remember I seen this shit.
Yeah, and Brad Whitford's in it.
Brad Whitford.
I love Brad Whitford.
Oh, I'm a big Brad Whitford fan. Who's he play? Is he one of the nerds?
He's like the
bad guy.
He's like the Jefferson character from the first one. He's like the main bad guy.
He's the main jock. I could see him being a smarmy asshole.
Jefferson from Married with Children played him in the first one. But Brad Whitford plays that character in this one. It's not the same guy, but it's the same character, you know?
Yeah. He's great.
He is great. Cabin in the Woods, Billy Madison.
Oh yeah, he's in Billy Madison.
Yeah, Eric.
He's great.
But no, it's not a good movie though. It's like if you really, really wanted to have like a Revenge of the Nerds marathon night, like it's not like the biggest waste of time, but you know what I mean?
I mean, no, I wouldn't want to do that.
I'm not saying you would. I'm just saying.
I don't think I'd want to do that.
It's like kind of like watching like a Police Academy sequel.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't want to watch that.
When they go to fucking Japan or whatever.
I mean, it's just like kind of, it's you know, kind of sexist, kind of racist 80s fucking comedies.
Oh, don't get all virtuous on me.
No, I mean, I like that.
I like the sexist, racist shit.
I was raised on that shit. It's hilarious. I just prefer to watch, if I'm going to watch from that era, like I'm going to prefer to watch the sexist,
Predator.
racist horror movies.
Yeah.
And Predator. And fucking Predator.
Yeah, you know.
Speaking of Predator, today we all learned the passing of one Apollo Creed, Carl Dylan, motherfucking, what was his name in Happy Gilmore?
Chubbs.
Oh, Chubbs!
Chubbs Peterson.
We lost you. Carl Weathers is gone. He died.
I'll say this about Carl Weathers. I'm a fan. I love Apollo Creed.
Oh, I love
grew up watching him as Apollo Creed. Of course, Predator.
Dylan. I've seen Predator so many goddamn times. Like, his arms, they're just massive.
Action Jackson.
Action fucking Jackson. We should cover that. I was told, James Finch messaged me, he's like, listen, y'all got to cover Action Jackson. We got to do this.
I do everything James Finch wants me to do.
Then we should fucking cover Action Jackson.
James Finch is a Patreon supporter. You can support us on Patreon if you'd like.
If you'd like. If not, I mean, doesn't matter.
It helps a lot.
Does it?
Thanks, everyone. I don't want to pay for this shit on my own.
No, yeah, because I ain't giving you money.
You don't give me any money.
I do. You do have to pay to feed me every time we do this, too.
But if you can't join the Patreon, if you like what you hear, at least share it with a friend.
Tell your friends, but, you know, somehow make sure that you send them to the right one. So I want to talk about something. There's an A24, right? Mm-hmm. An A24 makes a bunch of movies. So there's a video game creator, a Japanese gentleman named Hideo Kojima. He made Metal Gear Solid. So he made this game called Death Stranding, and it's a weird game. Basically, you're like an Amazon delivery guy, and you just walk around very slowly and try not to fall over. And for whatever reason, it's engaging, and I enjoyed it and played it in its entirety. So
are you joking right now?
No. So that game has Norman Reedus in it. It has Lindsay Wagner. It's like a movie. It's got Leah Seydow, fucking Guillermo del Toro is in it as a character. Mm-hmm. And so they're making a sequel to the game. A new game's coming out. But apparently, A24 and Hideo Kojima are making a Death Stranding movie.
Isn't the game just a movie?
Well, this is going to be not just the game, but like...
For people like me that I'm not going to play a game like that?
Exactly.
Like there's no fucking way I would sit down and play that game.
It's a good game.
No.
You'd enjoy it. You get all Metal Gear in there, bro, and there's like these giant fucking tar monsters and shit. Like anytime any person dies.
You just said you just walk around as an Amazon delivery guy.
Yeah, but it's like in the apocalypse. It's like post-apocalypse Amazon delivery driver. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I
just thought it was like an Amazon delivery simulator game.
No, it is, but it's
all artsy and stupid. Like, well, it's like so bad it's good, and it's made with all these prestigious talents.
No, the world is in ruins because of some weird thing, and like... Now, whenever anybody dies, their bodies like necrotize and explode and turn into these...
start with that.
Yeah, giant tar monsters. It's by the guy who made Metal Gear Solid. You played fucking Metal Gear, dude. It's all crazy shit.
Yeah.
Moving on.
That sounds great.
They're making a movie of it. They're making a movie of it. Now, the sequel to the video game, they just announced Death Stranding 2. In the video game, George Miller, the director of Mad Max, plays a character in it. Like this dude's just like buddies with all these directors.
Let me ask you this: do they use their likeness in the game, or do they just use their voices?
No, it's like the character is them. It's like
as George Miller is George Miller.
No, he's playing some fucking character,
but it's modeled after the way he looks now.
Yeah.
So it's like Waking Life.
It's like
Scanner Darkly.
Yeah, kind of like that. It's like Guillermo del Toro is a character. He's like some weird doctor in the first game, and he's big, old fat guy, and he's got a weird scar across his head like Frankenstein. But he didn't have that in real life, but his character in the game. It's
interesting.
It's really interesting.
Casting video games like that is an interesting thing.
The bad guy in the first game is Mads Mikkelsen. In some of the coolest Metal Gear style fucking boss fights, it's fucking badass. Death Stranding. So anyways, they're making a movie of it, and I'm very excited to see how that turns out, because Hideo Kojima's been trying to make movies in video games for years, so I'd love to see him actually...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Surprised it hasn't been done yet.
You know, I'm surprised they haven't made a Metal Gear movie.
I'm ready
yet.
for an Earthbound movie.
They need to make a Metal Gear movie, right? And then have the old Metal Gear Big Boss, the original one they cloned after. I'm not going to get all technical with the weird lore.
Please do.
But so, anyways, Metal Gear. They need to have Kurt Russell as the old version of Solid Snake, because Solid Snake is just based off Kurt Russell.
Yeah, it's Snake Plissken.
Yeah, it's fucking totally.
His name's
Plissken. Snake,
right?
Yes.
That's how fucking awesome John Carpenter is.
Exactly. And so the guy who made that is the guy who made this Death Stranding thing. Like he loves fucking Escape from New York so much that he made Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear whatever, you know. Anywho, comes full circle.
That
man.
sounds dope.
Yeah,
that sounds dope.
Death Stranding
I like
by
those Metal Gear
A24.
games. They got kind of weird and hard for a while there, but
they're all so good.
the one from like a couple years ago was really good, but I didn't remotely finish it because it just was like stupid hard.
The last one? It
The one where you have to like parachute people up to the that one.
It's not that hard.
It was challenging.
Well, you couldn't do the boss fights, huh?
No, I don't think I even got to any bosses.
What?
I was just like going into camps trying to stealth around and do missions that way.
See, that game's so good because it's like Metal Gear in open world. So I could just like have them airdrop me a sniper rifle and a rocket launcher and just like sit there outside of an airport where the bad guys are and just like start sniping them and then just blow up their planes.
The combat in that game is super realistic. Like as far as like
video games.
If the NPC is gonna see you or like like it's not like a lot of stealth games. You just kind of like dink around and like kill people around a corner. Like you have to really think through those situations.
Now I want to go home and play Metal Gear.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little aside.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for in the Not For Everyone podcast. The real Not For Everyone podcast. So we're gonna talk about the movies. So this is a little double feature-ino we're doing. It didn't start out as a double feature-ino. It started out as how every year we do the audience recommendations in January.
Well, we're going to call it Patreon requests now.
Patreon requests. So you pay up if you want to get us to pick your damn movie. So anywho, our Patreon request starts in January. But we didn't do anything in January, did we?
We did a Godzilla movie recap.
Oh yeah, that was good. So so now we're gonna do Patreon requests. And the first Patreon request comes from Aaron
from Ohio.
Oh hi, Aaron. So he recommended that we watch.
He's a Neil Young fan.
I mean,
is Aaron a Neil Young fan? He's like that song.
There's two kinds of people in this world. All right, people who like Neil Young.
No, that's Neil Diamond. But yeah, I think the same could be said about Neil Young.
Yes, I like Neil Young.
I do too, but I like Neil Young, but he's not my favorite.
Okay. Here's a question: who is better, in your opinion?
John Stamos,
Neil Young, or Neil Diamond?
That's
Battle of the Neils.
That is a decent question. It's not like the Corey Feldman one from earlier.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Personally. All things considered, I am, everything. Neil Diamond all day.
Neil Diamond all day, huh?
But that does not mean I don't like Neil Young.
I would say over my life, I've listened to a lot more Neil Young than Neil Diamond. And when I was younger, I would have hated on Neil Diamond. But as I've grown older and fonder of show tunes and just the bravado of male singers of the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and today, Neil Diamond's the fucking man.
Let me put it to you this way, the Neil Diamond versus Neil Young thing. Me personally, I'd rather
be Neil Diamond.
Get drunk on Tom Collins than die on heroin.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
And Neil Young's from Canada.
Yeah.
So how does that even really count?
Well, you think about Canadian celebrities. You got Bryan Adams.
You got the
Rush.
Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the Hall.
They're pretty good.
They're like the king. Yeah, the Kids in the Hall are probably the
Kings
most talented people to ever come out of Canada.
Most talented Canadians we know. Carrot Top, Alanis Morissette.
Is Carrot Top Canadian?
I don't fucking know.
We'll let him have him if he is.
They'll take him if they will, if they'll have him. So anyways, what were we talking about? The movies.
Shania Twain is Canadian.
No. Is she?
Shania Twain?
She's all right.
She's like the most, really? She's like the hottest, definitely the hottest country singer of the 90s.
You know what, dude? Goth Reba.
What?
Reba McEntire. I saw this picture somebody put on the internet.
Goth Reba.
Like
But
Reba
Goth Reba's not real.
Goth Reba is real.
She's real in your heart.
I'm just looking for.
I always
Goth
thought Reba was an attractive lady.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Shania Twain's real hot.
Yeah.
What was I talking about? Yeah, she's.
You're
gorgeous.
thinking of Linda Hunt.
That's it. That's the
Don't ever confuse Shania Twain with Linda Hunt.
It was a violent summer storm. Millions of volts slashed the earth.
That was the worst storm we've had since I was knee-high to a duck.
Folks talked about it and started getting things back to normal. When Mick hit town for his vacation.
Well, it's straight ahead about 5 miles.
But things weren't normal. There were changes.
Mother bit me. I never saw him bite like that.
Strange, frightful changes. That night, it all started.
Stop doing that.
I'm not doing anything.
This was the night of the crawling terror. American International presents Squirm. They came from everywhere. Millions of writhing, seething creatures oozing out of the mire to feed on human flesh. You sweat, but you don't dare move.
Oh, no.
Terror grips every nerve in your body. You want to scream, but you can't. Your heart beats so fast, it feels like it's going to burst.
Jerry? Too late! They're dead!
Squirm, a new experience in pure fright.
So what were we talking about? Why are we here talking about this?
Aaron recommended Squirm.
Squirm.
Which is a movie from the 1970s, late 1970s.
76.
I'd call it a cult classic.
Yeah.
I believe the first time I saw it was from Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Okay.
And when we watched it the other night, I think this is the first straight watch I've watched of it.
Really?
I had seen it, though.
I watched this during the pandemic with Bill. Bill Skinner recommended Squirm to me, and he's like, we're going to watch Squirm, and we watched it. And it's pretty freaking amazing for what it is. It's a product of its time, and it's got worm zombies. And it's fucking awesome.
It's got worm zombie.
Worm zombie. So an interesting thing happened on the way to the Squirm episode. We watched Squirm, and Bobby's like, this movie's kind of like The Deadly Swarm.
What I said was
Deadly Spawn.
What I
Deadly
said
Spawn.
was this would make a great double feature with
The Deadly Spawn.
The Deadly Spawn.
And I said, I've never seen The Deadly Spawn. And Bobby said, what? You never seen The Deadly Spawn?
Both of these are tight 90-minute movies.
Tight 90s. I mean, like, I think Deadly Spawn's like an 82-minute movie. Like, it's fucking perfect.
And Deadly Spawn came out like, what, 6-7 years later?
Yeah, 6-7 years later.
And it looks shittier than
Squirm. At least the copy we watched on Amazon was a VHS YouTube rip that somehow is on Amazon.
I do have a better quality version that I was too lazy to put in, but yeah.
Well, okay, you said that...
But it definitely looks like at least a 70s movie.
What, Deadly Spawn?
Yeah.
No, it feels like early 80s to me. The characters feel more 80s than... The Squirm characters feel like from the 70s. The Deadly Spawn feel like they're from the 80s. Early 80s, which is late 70s. But here's the thing. The special effects in Deadly Spawn are phenomenal. I mean, the creature effects are top-notch, A+. Like, it seems like big budget for the time.
It's Deadly Spawn is an incredibly valiant movie. The appeal of it is the effects and some of the fun sequences with those effects. But it's not just that either. Like, it's trying to like do and say something interesting at the same time. For a movie like this, you know.
Sure.
Unexpectedly, right? But yeah, so we want to talk about both of these.
We're just going to review both these movies at the same time tonight.
Great idea for a double feature. Not for everyone episode, but first we got to take a quick break.
Okay.
Give me a number between 1 and 15.
13.
13. We're going to see what number 13 is on 15 Amazing Facts About Worms.
Okay.
From this website called wormfarmguru.com.
Wait, Worm Farm Guru. There's a whole fucking community based around this.
Yeah. We're going to learn. We're going to go on a learning journey.
Learning journey of one of these.
Number, you said 13?
13, yeah.
Number 13 fact is worms are older than the dinosaurs.
Well, I'll be goddamned.
The first dinosaurs appeared around 231 million years ago in a time called the Mesozoic era. Earthworms predate all vertebrates in general. And have been around for about 600 million years.
600 million years.
That was fact number 13 on 15 fun fact or 15 whatever the fuck this article is called.
Yeah,
15 amazing worm facts.
So Squirm, let me tell you about Squirm.
A storm causes some power lines to break and touch the ground, drawing millions of man-eating worms out of the earth and into town, where they quickly start munching on the locals.
Now, in contrast to that, Deadly Spawn
is about alien creatures invade a small town, and 4 teenagers, along with a young boy, attempt to escape from them.
Both slithery, slimy worm movies.
It's a worm movie marathon. So yes, let's talk about the introduction of these characters. All right, there's 2 different areas of the world. They're both in America. We got Squirm is in somewhere called Flymouth, Georgia.
Fly Creek?
Fly Creek, Georgia. So it starts off with there's an electrical storm. And the electrical storm causes this huge downing of power lines. But the power lines go down, however, they don't go out. They're down, but they're not out. They're on. And those power lines are just pumping electrical juice into the ground.
It's like a lady you meet at the bar. You want her to be down, but not out.
Yeah, exactly. So what this is doing to the local flora and the fauna, or just the fauna, I guess, if a worm's a fauna, it's not flora. Anyway, what it's doing is it's forcing them out of the ground and pissing them off something fierce. Now, the only kind of worm that they have in this part of the land are bloodworms. Or glycia or something, that's what they call them. And what they are these fucking creepy, like tentacly, like they have little nubs all over them, and they have like biting fucking sandworm mouths, and they look horrifying.
Yeah, they look like very tiny versions of the dune worms.
Yes, they're like itty bitty dune worms.
So that's horrifying. And one thing that is incredibly cheap yet effective, and I appreciate cheap and effective.
Oh, for sure.
And terrifying.
Very. I know exactly
is
what
the
you're
close-ups on said actual bloodworms.
Yep. With the sound effects.
And granted, I guarantee this is just like B-roll stock footage they found somewhere of worms from some nature documentary that was produced in the 50s.
But no. Those were the actual kind of worms.
Yes.
Those were the bloodworms, the glycine.
I'm just saying, I don't think they shot those worms separately for the movie. And this is my point about cheap and effective. They grabbed some footage of some worms and then added like weird humanoid vicious screaming on top
sounds.
of it. Incredibly effective
scare, terror inducer,
lens of film.
Yeah, they did a hell of a job. So we meet our cast characters. This is again Podunkville, fucking Georgia, and so we meet our debutante, our star. I think her name was. We'll call her Redhead. So she looks like
a corgi.
She looks like a corgi. She's not unattractive.
Her name's Jerry.
Jerry. We meet Jerry's mother, Naomi, and Naomi's a fox. Like
you remember Naomi's name?
Yep. And Naomi, I'm like, this broad, like in her prime, you know, she was smoking sizzling hot.
Right? Yeah, it's Jean Sullivan, who seemed to be a fairly. Well, never mind. I take that back. She was in some shit. In the 40s.
And I bet she was gorgeous in the 40s. So there's the mother. And then the third person in this family is the younger sister. She's, I would assume, early 20s. Mm-hmm. Alma. Now, Alma, we got to take a second. We got to talk about Alma.
I don't want to be mean.
Alma is
She's a homely girl.
She's a homely girl. She has these pants on that are covered in patches. Like they're like jean shorts that cut off at the knee. And there's this weird like little puppy dog patches like just sewed onto the
It's like
legs.
some backwoods 70s hippie bullshit.
Yeah, and then like the bottom, like all on the crotchal asshole region is like a real dark pattern. Like it's a different piece of fabric that's darker than the rest of it. It just makes it look like she's wearing a diaper.
Yeah.
It's atrocious.
These characters could be characters also in like the same world as Last House on the Left.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Alma.
You know what I mean?
Alma would have been in Last House on the
It's
Left.
got that kind of redneck 70s vibe to it.
So she also has these huge red like hooker heel lifts that she's wearing. And they're like cork bottom and they're red on top, like leather. And she's wearing them around the fucking swamp. Like these are the shoes she wears the entire time in the swamp.
She looks like a pre-bog witch.
Yes.
Like she hasn't grown old enough to be an old crone in the swamps. She has a nice Juliette Lewis thing going on.
No. The point is, these characters all seem very podunk, except for Naomi. She's a lady. Now, we go on to meet the other characters. There's two male roles, the major prominent male roles in this movie. One, we have Dexter from the TV show Dexter. And he's the guy who's coming into town from the city to woo Jerry, right? They met somewhere.
They met on Tinder.
Yeah. And he shows up on a fucking bus with a tennis racket and a fucking fishing line. Like, you going to the swamp, dude? What are you doing?
And the country folks don't like this guy. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like this guy.
I don't like him either. I don't like him at all.
This is basically your protagonist.
This is your main character. This is who you follow throughout the whole movie.
This is at least the hero of the movie.
Ugh, God,
and he's
hate him.
kind of an intolerable prick.
He's a prick. He's like he's an uppity prick.
So despite all that, this movie has enough charm to make up for this character. But at the same time, the fact that is his character is kind of interesting in and of itself.
He's terrible with the ladies. I mean, like really, like
yeah.
The decisions he makes throughout this film are just mind-bogglingly bad.
He preys on like backwoods hillbilly folk.
Right, apparently.
For sex.
That's what he's going for. But then there's the other male role in this movie. We got to talk about Roger. Remember Roger?
Of course.
Who looks like
sexy Clint Howard. Roger.
He looks like the way that they dressed Ben Stiller up as Simple Jack. Like he looks like a ripped Simple Jack. He's like Clint Howard with a unibrow, but like a sexy man bod.
Yeah.
Like he's been doing push-ups.
But no, he's like a good-looking Clint Howard.
So Roger's character is also basically Simple Jack. He plays Kevin Costner from Silverado in this movie Without the Guns.
Yeah.
So this is like our characters, and apparently Roger's been in love with Jerry his whole life, and she knows it, and she's skeeved out by him, but he's like always around.
Yeah, she's kind of like, well, he's harmless.
He's harmless,
and he's the neighbor.
Or so she thinks.
And she knows, you know, his dad and him run a worm farm.
They run a worm farm.
Right?
Right. They farm these fucking Frankensteinian goddamn monster worms that they sell as bait.
Someone's got to do it.
It's a job that's got to be done. There is a fantastic sheriff in this movie who looks like who'd you say he looked like?
Dale Watson.
Dale Watson. I know Dale Watson. Google that guy. He looked just like him. He says he's got big fake teeth.
Texas country singer-songwriter Dale Watson.
Yes, is in this movie. He plays a sheriff. And so what's happening is the city's all shut down because of the electrical storm. But what's happening is these worms, they're just being forced out of the ground for the electricity, and they're hungry and they're mean. And they want to bite you. They want to eat you. They've eaten a man down to a skeleton. They've eaten a man down to a skeleton.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a clean white skeleton.
Yeah, like they ate it raw. It's, I don't know if I was ever scared of worms before. I remember seeing Night of the Creeps as a kid, and it kind of bugged me out with the slugs. Mm-hmm. But the worm work in this, like...
It's some good worm work.
He finds a fucking worm in his egg cream.
Okay, yeah, I want to talk about this entire scene, Adam.
Okay.
So, what's his name? Ding Dong Boy?
Let's call him Dexter.
Now, hold on. We got to find this.
Fuck his name. This redheaded asshole fucking cuck in the goddamn glasses.
It's right here in front of me. We got to call him by his real name, which is Mick.
Mick?
I always like the name Mick, but then you meet characters like this.
But there's always a Mick Dundee that makes up for it.
Played by Don Scardino, who's still directing episodes of Two Broke Girls.
Oh, wow.
And 30 Rock.
30 Rock hasn't been on in like 15 years.
and the incredible Burt Wonderstone.
Whatever. He directed that?
Anyway, he's still successful, is my point, in Hollywood. But he's more on the behind the camera, it seems, these days. Dan Scardino, God bless him for his performance in Squirm. So he gets off the bus, and falls in some mud. Falls in a mud pit. Sometimes that happens in the swamp. You're walking along, you're in a mud pit.
Through all of a sudden in a mud pit.
Thank God Jerry's there to see this happen, and she's laughing at him, and they meet up, and he's covered in mud and dirt.
Yeah.
He goes to a soda fountain shop. It's like a diner, convenience store, soda fountain.
Right.
Pharmacy. You know, that old towns like that have.
Yes.
And he orders what's called an egg cream, Adam.
An egg cream.
I wanted to make egg creams for this episode, but I forgot. Now, if I remember perfectly, it's a little bit of, it's soda water.
It's soda water.
And milk and whipped cream?
No, it's soda water, chocolate syrup.
That's right.
And milk.
And a little bit of milk to like take the edge off.
Or to give it a head or something.
Give it a head. Yeah, you got to give your egg cream a head.
The fuck? That's something that they make a big point about is how nobody knows what the fucking egg cream is.
She's like, oh, you mean a fucking ooga booga. Whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is. No, there's no name for that. Nobody orders that.
It's got to be a real thing.
Because I'm sure it's a real thing, but it's not something people fucking order. Like there's some other
I'm going to order that at like a Cheddar's soon. They'll be like, what? Well, you know, an egg cream. Come on, Toots.
Come on, Toots, make with the egg cream. Don't be holding out on me now, sweetheart. So
bring me my wacky jalapenos.
Ooh. So, okay. The amount of sea worms used in the film was countless. The production would order shipments of 250,000 Glycera worms at a time.
Folks, these were real worms.
The production would end up wiping out the New England fishing industry's supply of Glycera worms that year.
It was worth it. How many children?
Shit.
How many children starved because they couldn't get their fish because the movie Squirm?
Wait a second, though. Are you telling me like the whole scenes where the house was filled with worms, that was all real worms?
No.
Then where did they use the 250,000 worms a time at?
They used worms. I mean, it could have been, but I don't think every single shot was real worms.
Now I want to know.
It's possible.
It's possible.
But anyway, so he's with his girlfriend. He orders an egg cream. He finds a worm in his egg cream, and they're like, "You're just playing tricks because you're a city boy."
Yeah, you're a city boy. You found a
city
big,
boy. Don't
nasty
come
worm
around here and accuse us for having worms in our egg cream. You know, the Dale Watson cop.
Yeah.
You know,
he didn't like
takes up for the sexy little waitress.
He just has the waitress was sexy. But no, this guy has a real attitude about it. He has that New York attitude about him, and not like say anything bad about New Yorkers, but I mean like in the movies where it's like, oh, you're from New York, huh, city boy? Like it's that guy. And he was really being that guy, being that hippie guy or yuppie guy.
Yeah, exactly. He's not New York, he's just city. He's just, you know, this is a movie about class relationships, class struggles. Adam, so he goes to meet his country girlfriend, Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
He's covered in mud, had a worm and an egg cream, didn't have a good interaction with the locals.
Mm-hmm.
He's already on the radar, all that shit.
Already on the radar. So Roger and his dad are fighting again. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're fighting.
They're fighting again. They got a contentious relationship.
Yeah, because he let Jerry, the girl that he's got a hard on for, will never touch it. He let her borrow his worm truck, and the worms got out while they were in town.
Okay, this is important.
It's all important stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just fast forward. Jerry and Mick decide to go on their little date to go fishing, but for whatever reason, this guy traveled from the city to be with this girl and like get with this girl. He's totally okay with inviting Roger on their fishing trip.
Right. And then he gets bit by a worm, and he's like, I gotta go. You stay on the boat with Roger. And she's like, no, I want to go with you. He's like, no, stay on the boat with Roger.
Get a hint, guy.
And she's like, please, God, please don't leave me. He's like, see you later. And then he leaves.
But he wants to leave to go investigate the skull.
Yeah, they found a skeleton, by the way.
They found a skeleton. He wants to go. He's like, it's like itching at him. He wants to.
But you know what you do?
And he breaks into a dental office.
Right, but okay. Also, he goes and runs into the ugly girl Alma and takes her with him to do that. Like the cute corgi Jerry would have been totally down for all of that if he had just taken her off the boat with him. Like, why did he leave her on the boat? I don't get it.
Roger.
With Roger. He's like, nah, you're not going to come out. I'll take your ugly sister, though. What the fuck?
So we got Jerry on a boat with sexy Clint Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Mick ran off to investigate a skeleton, ran into Alma. They break into a dental office to examine x-rays.
Yeah, they examine x-rays because he's fucking Inspector Gadget all of a sudden.
Yeah.
He's
of the city, so he knows like forensics by default, right?
Yes.
Those small town cops could
they would never
be interested in that kind of stuff. They're like, well, found another skull. Well, and that's it. Case closed.
So they figured out who it was. So, hey, listen, I'm doing something I never really do. I'm looking at the trivia on this movie. That Sylvester Stallone eagerly pursued the casting agents for the part of Roger.
I could see it.
And it says Martin Sheen was briefly attached to the project to play Mick. I don't know if this is true. Could that be true?
I bet Martin Sheen's a little tall order.
It said Kim Basinger auditioned for the female lead. So you're telling me this movie could have had Kim Basinger and fucking Sylvester Stallone and fucking Martin Sheen? Like, that would have been a banger.
Well, I just got to say this right now. The man who wrote and directed this, Jeff Lieberman, also wrote the screenplay for The Never-Ending Story 3.
Oh, wow. He fucking went on to some illustrious work there.
Well, he's doing better than us, but let's see. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
He did a kind of a ding-dong comedy from the 80s called Remote Control about aliens. And then Satan's Little Helper from 2004, one of those Halloween movies they tried to kind of breathe some life into. And Just Before Dawn. And The Days and Nights of Molly Dodd from 1990.
You know, you just love naming off movies nobody's ever heard of.
Adam, I got a question for you.
What?
I got a question. Name me a number between 1 and 15 that's not 13.
4.
Number 4 on 15 Amazing Worm Facts.
Wormfactsguru.com.
Worms are cold-blooded and have 5 hearts.
Well, we goddamned.
Because worms are cold-blooded, they can't regulate their.
Wow.
I'm reading it verbatim. They can't regulate their temperature like mammals can. Look, worm gurus are good at worms. They're not good at grammar. This means their body temperature will be the same as their surroundings. Isn't that interesting?
Interesting.
Worms do not have a multi-chambered heart like mammals and reptiles do. Instead, they have 5 single-chambered aortic arches, similar function to the heart, which pumps blood through their body. The 5 hearts are close to the head of the worm.
Wow.
You'd think if you had multiple hearts, they'd be kind of spread out through your serpentine
It's all by the head. It's all by the head. Well, just so you know, the inspiration for this film was a childhood experiment between the director and his brother where they hooked up a train transformer to wet soil and used the electricity to drive hundreds of worms out of the ground.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
It's a real thing. And he realized if you shine a flashlight on them, they'd run away because they're underground creatures. They don't like the light.
Yeah.
And that's the whole basis of this film.
Yes.
Would you look at that? Also, this is more interesting than the worm factor on there.
How?
How's about this? How do you like this one? The sounds used, the unearthly screeching sounds were the worms, were actually electronically processed sounds of pigs screaming in slaughterhouses while they are being killed.
Love it.
Love it.
Love this entire movie.
You know, I really like, I like Squirm even more after reading about it.
After talking about it.
With
your old pal Snobby Bobby.
Yep.
Okay, so let's get to the terror in this movie.
Leonard Maltin gave it 3 out of 4 stars.
I give it 3 out of 4 stars. So let's get to like where this movie's going with the worms. This is all set up, okay?
Sure. Yeah,
he abandons this girl on a fucking boat with Roger.
Who tries to like make a move on her and then falls down because she pushes him away. And then the worms get on his face and crawl into his face.
Into his skin.
They slither into his skin, into his brains. It's a good movie, good shit. So anyways, you're going on.
He looks like when they give the serum in the X-Men movies to that dude.
Yeah, and he turns into all globular and like slinging around.
Yeah, kind of reminded me like when the veins pop out.
You're to be the one who's worm face.
Oh man, he is a good character.
He's great.
He's a good character, and he's a convincing old bumble. He's a convincing, sexy bumble.
I'm wondering if like he was a local.
No, I think he's a real actor. R.A. Dow?
Yeah.
I feel like I've even seen him in other stuff before. Let's see. He's known for Squirm.
Yeah, that's about it.
Credits, Squirm.
So wait. So they said, okay, here's the thing. This guy,
illustrious career in
this
Squirm.
guy, right? But they're saying Sylvester Stallone was pursuing the role, but they gave it to R.A. Dow. Like by this point, Sylvester Stallone had to have made something.
Porn.
Right. Death Race. He
I
fucking
think
made
Death Race was after this.
I don't know. Okay. So there's a scene in the movie where the worms eat a tree, right? And you don't know. Everybody's sitting down to a family dinner, and the fucking tree just falls on the house. And remember, I'm like, rewind that because that shit looks like that was real. Like that was all just one shot. Like that was really the tree falling on the house with them sitting there. I'm reading this now. According to the director, there were no special effects trickery in that scene. When the tree fell through the roof, they were sitting there they were on set when that fucking happened. That was all one fucking shot.
That's interesting.
That's amazing.
Incredibly dangerous, but
it was done in one take with an actual cut tree being released from a crane to fall through the constructed set, complete with the actors on set.
What if you died on the set of Squirm shooting that scene, and because like the whole reason for your death was the director wanted to maintain like the practical effects integrity of the shot?
I mean, I don't know. Ask John Landis.
Okay. All right.
Ask Vic Morrow. Tomorrow. Anyways.
But yeah, Squirm, basically, we got some crazy worms take over the entire situation.
They're just eating up everybody.
They're eating up everybody.
There's the scene in the fucking...
The guy's running around going, you got to go get some gasoline for a while. And they realize the light affects them.
Lights, they're scared of lights. So they're on the house and the worms go everywhere.
It's a siege, kind of a siege, almost like a zombie movie, but with worms.
Yeah, it is.
Worms are falling out of the ceiling. They're really taking over the place.
They're taking over everything. It's all worms, all coming up worms. And then Roger,
everything's coming up worms.
He's got the ones in his face, so he's basically turned into a worm man. Like he gets thrown into the sea of worms, right, in the living room, and then he crawls up the stairs. He's just crawling, like he's not using his arms, like he's just crawling like a worm.
Right.
And there's a scene where the people are trying to escape out the window, and he just like crawls up without using his arms and just bites onto him. He's like a fucking worm zombie.
Here's how you up the ante if you wanted to make a sequel to this movie. You make it about a whole fucking town of worm zombies.
Worm zombies. Yeah, fucking worm zombies, dude. Like that needs to be done.
Talk about brain worms. Ooh, that would be a good name. Squirm 2, brain worms.
Yeah, brain worm zombie apocalypse. No? Bit much.
But yeah, worms are fun.
Worms are fun.
It's fun to watch the worms.
So that's Squirm.
Hold on, I feel like we glazed over some of the cool practical
like the whole
effects.
movie. So yeah, I mean the worms.
When he falls into the downstairs pool of worms.
Well, see the question.
And you're like, oh, he's finally dead.
Then no,
worm zombie's finally dead. No, he went back. He went to get like mega worm powers.
That's what he did. He went
to go upgrade.
He got mega worm powers. So it ends with like some of the Nick and Jerry in the tree, and all the worms are gone. They're just all gone. They've all gone back into the earth. But nobody, like some power guys, they're like, oh, we fixed the electricity. Everything's fine now. And like, there's no like sign of the worms or the corpses or the.
It was all a dream.
I don't know.
They both got roofied in that tree.
Yeah, roofied by Roger.
And had a dream about worms.
I mean, I'm just like curious.
Alma hid in the trunk too.
Yeah, Alma hid in the trunk. She didn't die.
She didn't die, but Mom died.
She should have died. I did not like her character. If they had Sissy Spacek, maybe I would have been fine with it. No, it said Kim Basinger did audition for the role. That
I think IMDb is like
wait. No, this is wait. Here's the deal. Lieberman, the director, passed on her, believing the audience would not believe that she'd live in a hick town.
Well, I think that's fucked
He
up.
later regretted the decision, calling himself an idiot.
There's nothing wrong with it. Hick towns have plenty of sexy ladies.
Yeah, well, that's true. There's
you know what I mean?
A sexy lady.
That's some mixed city boy mentality right there.
Right. So half of the worms used in the film were made of rubber. The others included large sandworms from Maine. Refrigerated and transported. And an estimated 3 million bloodworms. To get the worms to move, wires were run under them and electrified. They did. They fucking fried them. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
One scene in which a living room is being filled with worms was accomplished by building a scaffolding 4 feet above the ground. So yeah, there's a lot of fucking worms.
Squirm's a fun movie, and it's better than you think it's going to be.
It's better. It's a lot better than you think it's going to be. Even when you meet the characters, you're like, these people aren't like good at anything they're doing in this movie. It's still a great movie. It's really cool. It's unique. It's its own thing, you know? Like, there's not many killer worm movies out there.
It's a good, I guarantee this is probably some sort of drive-in double feature thing in the 70s that got released, if you limit, you know.
And they're sitting in the car, and they're watching, and the windows are rolled up, steaming up. He's like, let me show you my
it's a grind. I think it's a grindhouse thing, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, that was Squirm. We're fans of Squirm. I'm glad Aaron recommended it so I could revisit and get better familiar with this film.
Good recommendation, Not Neil Diamond.
Not Neil Diamond pulls through.
What was that?
First, there was the invasion of the body snatchers. Then there was Alien. Now there is the deadly spawn. It began with a meteor crashing to Earth. No one knew the mystery of the mutant spores it contained. Now, they are free. They will grow and reproduce rapidly, eating anything and anyone in their path.
Learn something.
The deadly spawn. The nightmare is just beginning.
Hi.
What do you do when unknown terror surrounds you? What do you do when there is no escape? Nowhere to hide from being eaten alive.
What the f was that?
The deadly spawn. They just keep multiplying like demon seed. The deadly spawn, extraterrestrial terror. They're full of surprises. And the best is yet to come.
Let me go! Let me go! There's no such thing!
Can anything stop these strange creatures? The movie real science fiction fans have been waiting for. The Deadly Spawn wants you to see them at this theater soon. They need every person they can get. New from 21st Century Distribution. Rated R.
All right, folks, this is a double feature episode. We haven't done one of these in a long time.
In a while.
The natural progression of movie watching, worm movie watching nights is to go from Squirm to the Deadly Spawn.
The Deadly Spawn.
This is a less pun intended, grounded worm.
Yeah. This is a worm from on high. A worm from the outer beyonds, from other realms. These are space worms, folks. The Deadly Spawn. So we start off with a scene of some guys camping and a meteor falling from the sky. Now, we're watching this. We're watching this on Amazon. And I looked up, it was filmed on 16 millimeter. But this really the copy they have online to watch, it feels like it's just a bad VHS rip of this movie.
It probably is online. I'd argue that this is probably the first breath of up-and-coming directors of the 70s and very early 80s starting to really... You're starting to see those directors that grew up in the 1950s creature feature stuff.
Yeah. Like, that,
right. Eventually you get to the Carpenters... and the Fred Deckers of the world, but this is that
Blob.
kind of, that first nod or kind of like organic influence.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like Night of the Creeps. It feels like
a 1950s.
Right. It feels like the Blob
feature.
from the 80s, which was made of the 50s.
Right.
Exactly. It's that whole throwback. So yes, and they do it magically. It's a great monster film. It's a creature feature for sure. And the special effects are really tremendous in this fucking thing. So we get this meteor crashing. You can't make it out. It's really bad. It looks like you need to wear glasses. Even if you have your glasses on, this is so blurry. But then these two campers go to look for it, see what it is. But whatever it is, it gets them. Dun, dun, dun. There's blood, there's splatter, and then we move on. Then we go a little American household somewhere in New Jersey. And there's a guy wakes up next to his wife. He looks like he's about 28, 29 years old. His wife looks about 50.
But, I forgot.
Yeah. But he goes downstairs, and then he walks into the basement. They have a huge basement, because apparently huge basements are a
good-looking couple.
Good-looking couple. Yeah, they were a good-looking couple. They had a couple kids. And so they go downstairs, and he's wandering around through the dark, shadowy nether realms of the basement, which I guess I've never been in. I've never had a basement. I guess those are like that. But
basements are pretty scary.
But yeah.
If you've seen Home Alone.
Right. I mean, are basements really like basements in Home Alone?
Yeah.
Are most basements like that?
Well, if it doesn't have a talking furnace, is it really a basement?
Or if it doesn't have a fucking giant bloodworm that's going to eat your ass, which is what happens in this. So Daddy's downstairs, and all of a sudden something jumps up on him, grabs him, and voila, blah, blah, there's just blood everywhere. He's just getting gored and mauled and eaten by what appear to be teethy, tadpole-shaped worm critters.
Yeah. Varying sizes, too.
Varying sizes, yeah.
You got little tiny ones, you got tadpole-sized ones, you
bigger
got
ones.
like medium, like little, like a baby arm-sized ones.
Right, like a baby arm holding an apple.
Yeah. Set it up, knock them down.
With teeth.
And then you have like the giant mother worm in the basement.
Oh, yeah.
And I just love a cheap in the greatest sense of the word. I'm not saying cheap, that's the wrong word. I love a good puppet monster from the 1970s when they add like some sort of fluid on it.
Yeah, like a wet, drooly puppet monster.
Drooly puppet monsters are the best puppet monsters.
These things look so fucking badass. Just the teeth, the amount of teeth on them is mortifying, and they're coming from every angle. It's just a toothy, eyeless monster. Like, imagine like a dick with like 7 other dick heads, and they're all just the heads of them are just teeth.
They seem like they're from the same planet as those like chicken nugget monsters from Toby Hooper's Invader from Mars.
Yes, they are right up the alley of Invaders, and which is another creature feature, which is based on shit from the 50s, and this does predate it. I mean, this is before all of them. I mean, which is amazing. So we meet the family. Well, Dad, we met him briefly. And then Mother looks older. She looks like she's much older than Father, but smoking bod. She's wearing like a see-through negligee. You see the full caboose. Loving it. She goes into the basement. We don't see back from her for a bit. But then there's 2 kids. One's like an older teenager, like
I think he's like in college. He's like studying to be a space insect
scientist.
I
think so, yeah.
Something like that.
And then the younger brother is just like a horror fiend. His room looks like Bobby's toy lab.
Yeah.
And he's just like watching horror movies and trying to scare his family. Now we also have the
he's like Corey Feldman in
Meatballs 4.
No, in Friday the 13th part 4.
Right, yeah, he's that kid. So
Tommy Jarvis. He's like a little Tommy Jarvis.
Was that his name?
Yeah.
I need to rewatch that. I haven't seen that.
Oh, that's one of the best ones. Part 4, dude. You should watch that tonight.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a legitimately good movie.
I might just walk around.
Is it part 4?
This Jason.
It's the first of the Tommy Jarvis. It's 4 or 5. I can't think right now.
It's not.
It's after the Shelley 3D one.
It's after 3D.
I think it's the next one after. I think it's part 4.
It's 4 or 5.
I'll send it to you later. You need to watch that movie.
It's 4 or 5. I'll watch it.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
All right.
I know you're not a big Friday fan, but that's a good fucking movie.
I mean, I like Friday with Ice Cube.
But anyway, he's into monster movies and movie magic.
Special effects. He's like blowing
and
stuff
magic
up.
tricks and like explosion powders.
Right.
And drooly puppets.
Drooly
fun
monster.
masks.
Yeah, he's into all that shit. So a kid like that you think would be thrilled to have a giant toothed worm monster in his basement.
I think he was at least just indifferent. I didn't think he hated that.
He didn't hate that thing.
He didn't hate it.
He didn't hate it.
He handled the situation. He's the hero of this movie.
Yeah.
And he handled the situation incredibly even keel, calm, stoic. I know about monsters. I got to do what I can to take care of this monster situation.
You also could look at it as if he was just exercising the traits of a sociopath.
Yeah, but the world needs those sometimes when there's worm monsters in your basement.
I guess so.
But I was going to ask you, why did the worm monsters from the comet happen to end up in this basement?
I mean, I would assume there was a creek. They were talking about a creek. They found him outside too.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't just in the basement, right? They found him out in the yard because the older brother's friends show up and they're like, they bring one. They found one of the smaller worms. They're like, what the fuck is this?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like dissecting it to find out what it is. But apparently they were all over the place. Now the mom, she also went down the basement following dad. I want to get to what happens with mom.
Okay.
She just gets ripped to shreds. Like they just fucking eat her head off. Like
all great kills too.
Great kills. The effects are amazing.
Apparently they had to the guy that did the special effects, which I'll look up in here in a second, the guy that built the monster.
Terrific work.
Like they had, when they moved it on set, they had to disassemble it and then reassemble it because it wouldn't fit through. He built it in his garage or his basement.
Right. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I say just shoot it in that guy's basement.
Yeah, but they had to move it around. They had to have a lot of different scenes with it in different places because they had to get it out. There was a lot of scenes with it in the basement. That was probably the fucking basement.
That's where it lived.
Yeah. And then when they took it upstairs, they'd take the motherfucker apart to get it up there.
Yeah.
It was a big ass mother worm creature. So then we have the aunt and uncle too. And the uncle's like a psychologist and he's trying to psychologize young film buff as a side story there.
Yeah.
And then we have the aunt. Now the Aunt Millie, I think, she's one of my favorite characters in this movie. She's one of my favorite characters of both of the movies that we just watched. And she's a birdish, small woman, kind of like Linda Hunt.
Okay.
She's a little Linda Hunty, but I love her. I would kiss her on the face.
You're acting real Linda Hunty lately.
I mean,
Ethel Nicholson, I can't visualize her right now.
The aunt.
I'm gonna look her up. Hold on.
The aunt.
You keep going. I know, dude.
Bobby, the aunt.
I've been drinking and I watched 2 worm movies in the last 48 hours. There's a lot of characters going on. Oh yeah,
right. She's great. She
is good. She's a good actress. For sure.
And none of these people you see in anything else ever. Any of them. It's amazing. So, anyways,
she kind of looks like that Canadian comedian from SCTV. What's that guy's name? He's in all kinds of shit. Joe Flaherty.
She does look like.
She kind of looks like Joe Flaherty from SCTV.
She totally looks like Joe Flaherty. Jesus.
Joe Flaherty. Big fan of Joe Flaherty from SCTV. Maniac Mansion, of course.
Maniac Mansion. That's it.
Yeah, based on, and then he was in Monsters too. And
Count Floyd.
You gotta love him. You gotta love SCTV. Canada. Talk about Canada sometimes.
Yeah. Better than Neil Young.
He's better than Bryan Adams.
That guy too. So, okay. So back to Deadly Spawn.
Is it Flaherty or Flaherty?
I'm not Canadian. I don't fucking
Flaherty. You know who we're talking about.
Flaherty. So anywho, Deadly Spawn. So Aunt Millie leaves to go to Grandma Bunny's house. And then while they're there, the horror movie kid, he goes downstairs he goes to the basement to look for his mom, while the older kids are upstairs dissecting a worm. Now, when he gets downstairs, he walks up and there's the giant worm monster. And the worm monster has his mother's head in its mouth. And then it just drops the severed head on the ground. And several smaller worm monsters come up and tear all the flesh of the mother's face off the skull. Just disenfleshify it right in front of the eyes of the child.
That's a killer fucking effect.
Yeah. And the son just...
If you want cool practical effects, this is top notch.
Top fucking
So is Squirm, but Deadly Spawn. You watch
monster effects.
You do watch Deadly Spawn for the monster effects, but that's not all it is either.
The dialogue's great. It's funny. It's campy. It's
the other characters are super annoying.
Right.
But we got to talk about this. You have the movie magic nerd kid that's like 12 or whatever.
Right.
He's being psychoanalyzed by the creepy uncle.
Creepy uncle.
And then you have his older brother who's space insect college guy.
He's a college guy. I don't think anything to do with space insects.
Well, they're talking about like
They're talking about
worms
space
from
insects
Jupiter's
because-
and shit.
Oh, no, houseflies from Jupiter.
Houseflies from Jupiter.
I don't know what the fuck they were talking. What was that about?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like they're into science and shit, all right?
Yeah.
So the point is, he calls his study group over. They find one of these weird worms in the creek or something like that.
In the creek. Yeah.
In the creek. And they're like, we don't know what the fuck this thing is. Yeah. Meanwhile, you got a giant one down below. You don't even know, down in your basement. You don't even know.
It just ate your parents. Your parents are dead.
Your parents are dead, and you guys are over there like, should we dissect it?
Right.
Could it be some sort of freshwater eel? Like they're going all fucking nerd science-y guy debating on what the fuck this. They literally say at multiple points like, we got to read all these books.
Yeah, he's like,
there's a big library of books we need to read to figure out what this thing is.
And the books in his room. There's all these books he has in his room. Like, what the fuck are your books gonna like prove? Like, what the fuck? You even got an internet, bro.
So just keep that in mind. Keep all that in mind. Now let's cut to Joe Flaherty lady going over
Aunt Millie. Aunt Millie goes to Grandma Bunny's house. They're gonna have a vegetarian afternoon brunch with all.
They
of
were
her lady
very
friends.
progressive 1970 old ladies.
82.
Yeah.
So they, 82 was the year, not how old they were. Bunny could have been 82. I mean, she was pretty old, but she was still a looker.
She was spry.
She was spry for her age.
Grandma spry.
So they invite their friends over, and they showing off all their foods.
They're making white old lady food.
No, so white.
It's like lentil soup.
Yeah.
I like a lentil soup, but they don't bring it to a party.
I mean, if it's a vegetarian,
that's true.
Pot roast
with old ladies,
potluck. Yeah.
Well, we should go to like a party. Be like, hey, I brought some lentils,
dude. I want to go to
lentils.
I want to go to a potluck. I want to go to a potluck with old ladies.
Yeah, a nice aspic.
What?
That's in like the 1950s. They'd always try to market gelatin in certain ways.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, hey, put like fruit and vegetables inside the gelatin and serve it as a treat at a dinner party.
Vegetable. They put broccoli in the Jello.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's like some Fallout shit.
Put some cubed ham and broccoli in your Jello. It's kind of like cheese.
My wife hates like work potlucks. So one time she brought an aspic, and there was like one old lady that was really into it. She was like trolling. She's like, "Here's an aspic."
Why would she hate work potluck? I love work potlucks.
I don't know.
Why would anybody hate those?
Ask her.
I'll ask her later.
She's kind of a germaphobe.
Makes sense. I don't give a shit. What they get a shit it and I'll eat it. Just cook it up first. Anywho,
I did get very sick at a Halloween potluck from work one time.
Yeah. Was I there? Did I work at that one?
You did.
I was fine. You got a weak gut, Bobby. You need to work on your gut.
I mean, it was bad for like 24 hours. Halloween night, I remember it was like 2011 Halloween night. Whew.
It's just,
you know that movie? Let's say I watched the movie Hard Rain in the toilet. Christian Slater was there with, is it Morgan Freeman in that one?
I don't know. Anywho, fucking what the fuck are we talking about? There's this vegetarian party going on. But what happens is some of the worms are there. They're everywhere, man. They crawl into the food processor and she serves worms with the vegetarian stuff and they start getting all grossed out because it's disgusting. But then the worms just come out of the woodwork and just start attacking everybody.
The first time I saw this movie, I liked what I saw so far, right?
Yeah.
And then this scene was like, as I was watching it for the first time years ago, I was like, this is the scene that's going to make me remember this movie.
Yeah.
Like, if I haven't watched this in a decade, be like, hey, remember Jelly? Like, oh, the one with the old ladies that get attacked by
worm monsters
at their potluck, their vegetarian potluck. Like, it's insane. And it's not just the idea of that. It's like the way it's executed is
fucking wonderful.
Is Bananas Town wonderful.
Yes.
I mean, just think about distressed, screaming old ladies in a like 1980s decorated grandma house getting attacked by worm monsters.
Luckily, there was plastic on the couch that kept all those fluids off of it.
Yeah. Thank God for Italian women.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I mean, there's scenes in both of these movies, Squirm and this movie, I feel like there are scenes where it's just a shot of a weird hole in the ceiling and then out comes a faucet of worms.
Oh, yeah. Remember the faucet? They turn on the shower
faucet
in Squirm, she turns on the shower and the worms start just coming out of the holes. They never fall all the way out, and she turns off the shower, and they go back.
Little things like that are like, Squirm's great. Anyway, back to Deadly Spawn.
Back to Deadly Spawn.
Old lady scene is just memorable.
Top notch. Then we go back to the other house. The mother monsters come out of the basement, right? The big monsters. The kid went down there, and he figured out they only are attracted to sound, so he like tricked his way out of there.
They're kind of like trimmers.
Yeah. They're trimmers. They're giant blind ass worms. So then anywho, like the nerdy brother has like a cute little nerd girl that he's like really hot for and stuff. And then the monsters get upstairs and they're like trapped between 2 bedrooms. And his little nerd girlfriend makes a run for it, and the creature just bites her head clean off. Like this is one of like the characters you've grown to like love in this movie.
Well, there's not many.
There's not many.
There's like 4 people in this movie.
Yeah. Well, she gets her head just chomped right and it's beautiful. And their body flies out a window. Oh God.
So mom's dead, dad's dead, girlfriend's dead.
Uncle's dead. He took a nap, and the worm's just crawling in and out of his face.
Yeah. So we just got left the 2 brothers, and then the brother's weirdo friend.
So the monsters there, and
Aunt Millie's at the fucking potluck getting attacked by worms.
Yeah, they got away though because there wasn't any giant mother worm there. Right. It was just the little worms because they didn't go in. They
look like little enemies from Metroid.
Yeah,
they look like a boss you would fight in Metroid. The mother worm does, and then like the little
ones,
tiny ones you gotta shoot them a couple times to kill them,
because they're a couple shots and they'll get you. They'll fucking get you.
So that's the brilliance of Metroid.
Metroid's so good.
It's not like one shot you're dead. It's like, no, this is like real life. You got to shoot these fucking monsters a couple times.
Right? You got to get them just right. And with the mother worm, they got in the attic. Somehow the mother worm followed them in the attic, I guess. And because it's just a giant worm, it can crawl up fucking anything. It's got like 4 heads and 80,000 teeth. So the youngster, he figures out how he's going to kill the giant worm. Right? He's going to fill a mannequin head with flash powder and then blow it up. Apparently, the flash powder has a lot more power than what it was when he used it earlier. But he does that. He sticks it in its mouth, thinks it's a head, tries to chomp on it. Instead, it gets plugged into the wall. Kabloomy, kablammy, kablowo. The big one is done. So what happens next is the movie goes all Night of the Living Dead, right? It's like the original Into the Night of the Living Dead, where the people are running around cleaning up.
I think that was intentional too.
Oh, of course. It's beautiful. It's a total throwback. I mean, it's a love letter to that shit, you know? And they're like exterminating all of them. They're like, oh, there's a bunch of them over here. And the people are running around just killing all these fucking worms, right? And then the closing shot. I mean, I'm gonna get to the closing shot. Or am I rushing through this?
Well, the only thing I wanted to say, and now's as good a time as any to bring this up, I guess, is the hero of this movie that kills the worm is the movie kid.
Yeah.
Not the fucking brainiac ding-dongs upstairs reading books on what this river eel might be.
Yeah.
They're wasting time, man. They don't have the ingenuity,
the sociopathy,
or the love of monster movies,
right,
to deal with this situation. They can try to fucking put it on a dry erase board of what they think it is all day, but it's not going to deal with the actual situation at hand.
Well, and what happens is this: when people see that thing, they scream, right? And the thing's attracted to sound.
Not to mention it's murder your whole family.
That too. But when the kid sees it, he doesn't scream. He's like, "That's a monster. I love monsters."
He's been desensitized by monster movies.
So parents, desensitize your children to monsters.
You never know when you're going to have a drooly worm puppet in your basement. You need your sociopath kid to murder it with some
flash powder
and
electricity.
The point is, movie magic saved the day, not the scientists.
Yeah, it wasn't science. It was movie magic.
It was movie magic.
And a sociopath kid.
That's what I mean when I say Deadly Spawn has a lot going for it, for multiple reasons, like visually and just story wise. But it didn't have to be so cheeky with that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure it did.
I mean, it wasn't required. It was a nice...
Oh, yeah. It didn't have to, but it did anyway.
Yeah, it was nice, unexpected, like, oh, I get what you're doing there.
Well, and
it didn't have to say anything.
Right. And it was funny, too. It was a well-done movie. It's a really well-done, low-budget-ass movie.
Got a lot of heart.
Now, the best thing... this movie, and I'm going to spoil the whole fucking thing. I don't give a shit. has one of the most phenomenal endings, right? Because it shows this house on a hill, and I'm like, well, that's a nice little fucking model they built there.
Yeah, it looks like a Hallmark Christmas Town model.
And then there's some guys in the raves like, oh, we got a 3-footer over here. He's like, oh, you think that's bad? We got an 8-footer over here, and they're talking about these creatures. Like, I guess they just don't stop growing. And then they hear this loud rumble. The earth shaking, like an earthquake or thunder is like coming at full steam. And it goes back to that shot of the house, the postcard house, and the hill beside it. And the hill lifts up, and it's a whole fucking toothy monster. Goddamn Godzilla-sized toothy monster.
That's the last frame of the movie.
Last frame of the movie. These things are taken over. It wasn't just their house. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
We just saw the story in their house.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Again, like I would say that like the Squirm ending doesn't even hold a torch to that.
Squirm
ending just kind of like resolution, roll credits. Wow, that was a fun thing.
Right.
Again, in the same way that Deadly Spawn didn't have to say anything, it also didn't have to have that ending.
I mean, it just looks beautiful, like the special effects, the message. I love anything where everybody dies at the end.
This
the whole world dies
to be Deadly Spawn has to be like one dude's vision and passion project. Like this is not some sort of
big budget
argument about creative control.
There was no production interference by the studio.
There was no like Richard Stanley and Isle of Dr. Moreau situation going here.
He didn't have to go through all that shit.
But yeah, it was written and directed by Douglas McCown. So I'm a fan, and I wish I would have seen more work from this guy.
I wish I would have seen this sooner, but I'm glad that I have seen it now. Out of the two, they're both amazing in their own particular ways. But I've seen one twice. I've seen one once. I want to go watch The Deadly Spawn like over and over again. I want to like try to find a better quality copy. I don't think it exists.
No, I got it. I got like the Blu-ray of it. But it's definitely better than the version we watched.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I want to watch that again because that movie is just amazing. That was like a little unexpected treat. It was like a little chicken biscuit covered in Andes mint.
I couldn't believe you'd never seen it before. I was like, oh, we gotta fucking sit down. You're not going anywhere. Yeah. Look at the poster. Like,
I'm looking at it right now. It's up there behind you. I look at it every fucking time I'm here.
So yeah, I would mostly agree. I'm really, really glad that we watched Squirm, and I love a lot of things about Squirm. I'd like to see it turn into a franchise.
Yeah. If they had Basinger
40 years ago,
if they had Basinger and Stallone, I mean, there would have been like 5 Squirms. You know,
a lot of were noteworthy things about Squirm. I think overall, Deadly Spawn's visuals are a little bit more interesting.
Oh, for sure.
And there's a lot more heart in it. A lot more. It's a smarter movie, I think.
You know, none of the characters, you don't just hate any of the characters.
There's no hate. There's no characters to hate.
Yeah.
Characters to hate can be an appealing thing.
Yeah, but not when you're the lead and you look like fucking Dexter.
My point is, as much as I love Deadly Spawn more than Squirm, I don't want to besmirch Squirm either.
No, you're right. They're both great. They're both great in their own special little ways.
So even though we prefer the Deadly Spawn over Squirm, we are so glad that Aaron recommended Squirm because it led to this fun-filled, educational episode of the Not For Everyone podcast.
Absolutely.
A fun-filled double feature.
There's more coming your way. I think we're covering The Crow next.
Maybe.
The Crow.
I've never seen that.
We should cover it. I want to hear a whole episode of you talking about The Crow and what you took from it.
I bet it's going to be annoying as piss.
The soundtrack's great, though.
What is that, 9 Inch Nails?
Yeah, and The Cure. Yeah, dude. All the bangers. Henry Rollins Band. Rollins Band sings a song about Ghost Rider.
Is Prodigy?
No, but the Thrill Kill Cult is.
Okay.
It's fucking badass, dude.
Crow. But anyway, we'll probably watch The Crow next week.
Yeah, Cameron requested it.
It's a real request because it is Patreon requests. Time of the year. Always never steered wrong, really. I don't think. Bill steered us wrong a couple times.
That's a lie, and you know it.
You've been listening to Not For Everyone podcast. Follow us on Instagram. Hey, we're on YouTube also. If you listen on YouTube now, Please hit that notification bell.
Subscribe, baby.
Subscribe, share, please do it. Hit the bell, baby.
Hit the fucking bell. What's that do?
It just helps with the algorithm. Like you can subscribe, but if you hit the bell, that means like you really want it to be notified.
You see, but you saying it like that just made our listeners not want to hit the bell.
Just hit the bell.